you need to understand what social proof is. Social proof is something that's very difficult to do in the beginning, but if you become a person of value, you're going to have what we call social proof. Social proof is something that when people see you, they just want to work with you because they think you know everybody because of your network, right? You obtain this massive network, you're around all these people. So now you have what we call social proof because of your surrounding, because of your network. So now if you approach another individual, they're willing to work with you. They're willing to open doors for you because they assume because of your relationships, you hold so much power that they might be able to use for themselves as well too. So you need to learn about social proof. So how do I social proof myself? This is the Bossman International podcast with your host, Taa Tomondo. Today, I want to talk about building a business using social capital. What I realize is that a lot of entrepreneurs or anybody that wants to build a business, the first thing that stops them from starting or beginning that business is capital. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about on how, as an individual, you can be able to come up with the money and raise capital to start your own business. Just stay with me because it's a lot of things that I'm going to talk about. At first, it might not make sense to you, but the more you listen to the conversation, the more it starts making sense. So, the topics that I'm going to cover are going to be first, I'm going to talk about value. I'm going to talk about the law of reciprocity. I'm going to talk about networking. I'm going to talk about confidence. I'm going to talk about the capital. I'm going to talk about social proof. I'm going to talk about social arbitrage. I'm going to talk about true or real value. I want to talk about proactiveness. I want to talk about being a serial networker. And then I want to talk about being a giver. So all of this will come back to its components that ends up building what we call social capital. So I'm going to start with the first thing first, which is value. When you're starting to build a business or building your idea, the first thing that you have to have is something of value. The value might either be the service that you're building or the product that you're building. So if it doesn't have any value, then your business is not going to be successful. If your service doesn't have any value, then your business is not going to be successful. So when it comes to building a business as well, if you don't have the capital to start the business, if your product is of your value, and if your service is of value, you're going to find the capital to start the business. So how do you build this value that I'm talking about? If, let's say, you want to build the value, you want to build a business, you don't have any capital to start, you don't have any money to get your business started, how do you become a person of value? That's something that I want to cover here. Because once you become a person of value, the resources will be provided for you to be able to build a business. If you're a person of value, you're going to build a product of value. So the foundation of anything is you being valuable. More than the business being valuable, the success of the business is going to be determined on how valuable the individual that's building that business is. So that's why it's important to understand value. What I mean by value also is that when you when you work with people or when you're around people, people should be want to be around you because there's something of value that you're gonna give them or provide to them. Even if you don't, the aspect of them thinking that you have something of value, it gives you the opportunity to be next or close to them. And those people that you're around, they can help you build your business. I'm trying to get to explain really what value is and how you can be a person of value. I'm gathering all those thoughts together so I could explain to you on how you can build value. So if you're somebody, just an individual that's studying, it's really hard to have any value, right? So how, as a person that's studying, how can you be valuable? Simple things like providing to be of help, of service to anybody that's around you. The thing is that whenever you're around people, don't look into people, don't look at people and say, what can I get out of them? Or what can I get from them? For you to become a person of value is like, what can I give? What can I give to these people? And also your other question might be like, I don't have anything to give. Every individual, we have things that we can give to people. That doesn't have to be money. So the thing that you can give as somebody that has nothing to give is your service to others. Trying to help. How can I? You can see where people are struggling, right? You can do even just a little thing for somebody, an act of service of like, hey, I can do this for you. You don't have to pay me. Yeah, I can run this errand for you. Oh, I can do this. So I'm just trying to get examples of here, like, I talking about being proactive, right? That's one of the topics that I want to cover. You need to be a person that's proactive. How can I help? How can I help you? Not what can I get from you? So once you become that person that says, how can I help you? How can I be of service to you? That's where you start building value. So that's value is part of the social capital. So once you have value, people want to be around you because you have something to provide. You have something to offer. So when you have something to offer, you build what we call a network. And then when you have a network of people, the network of those people in your network, of course, they recognize that you're somebody who's valuable. And for you to want to be in their network, there's something of value that they provide. So those individuals are going to be invested in your success as well too. So when it comes to building a business, when you're around these people and you're talking to them, they can actually give you advice on how you can build your business. They can even say like, listen, I want to come in and help you build this. Or they can introduce you to somebody else that want to work with you to build your business. I know it's a lot, but if you listen closely to the conversation, it's about being a person of value. So you build a network that you can become a person of value by being proactive, being a person of service who wants to serve others. Somebody here is going to come and say like, oh, if I'm going to go around and doing all these free things for people, people are just going to use me. If people are going to use you, it means that you're useful. That's it. No one is going to use anybody who's useless. Let people use you, especially in the beginning. Get used as much as, you know, let them use you as much as they can. But what you're doing, you're getting closer to them. You're seeing how you're getting into these networks. You're meeting these individuals. You're doing this, you're doing that. Things that you could have not done if you didn't let those people use you. So be useful. Yeah, so I cover networking. So I'm going to go straight into confidence, building confidence. The foundation of value is confidence. The foundation of social capital is confidence. You need to be confident in your ability. You need to be confident in yourself. You need to be confident in your dreams. If you want to truly build something successful, you need to believe in yourself. That's the foundation of success. That's the foundation of social capital. If you want to build a business with no money or with no capital, using what we call social capital, which is using other people's resources that you can obtain through networking and through being a person of value, you need to be confident. You need to build confidence. And I know for a lot of people, it doesn't come natural, but that's the foundation of it. You need to do what needs to get done for you to be confident in yourself. Because along the way of building any product or any business, you're gonna be shaken. People are gonna do different weird things that if you're not confident enough, you're not gonna be able to move forward. So if you're building a business with no confidence, you're wasting time. That's where it starts. Confidence. That's the foundation of a successful business. You need to be unshakable. You need to be confident in what you're building. If you have confidence, you're going to get into the right rooms because of your confidence. You're going to become a person of value and build those networks because you're a very confident person. But also, too, comes back to social capital, right? You're going to be able to obtain that social capital that will allow you to be able to build a business with no money. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is social proof. Social proof is important for social capital. In order to be able to build relationships with people, you need to understand what social proof is. Social proof is something that's very difficult to do in the beginning, but if you become a person of value, you're going to have what we call social proof. Social proof is something that when people see you, they just want to work with you because they think you know everybody because of your network, right? You obtain this massive network, you're around all these people. So now you have what we call social proof because of your surrounding, because of your network. So now if you approach another individual, they're willing to work with you. They're willing to open doors for you because they assume because of your relationships, you hold so much power that they might be able to use for themselves as well too. So you need to learn about social proof. So how do I social proof myself? It's through being confident. Be very confident in everything that you build. Build relationships with people that are successful. That's the easiest way to social proof yourself. If people see you around the big guys, if people see you rolling around with the bosses of the city, guess what people are gonna do? That's your social proof right there. They're gonna be like, this guy's making moves. We gotta be around this guy. This guy's making some moves. We gotta see what he's doing. Oh, if you tell them an idea, they wanna hear it out. They're like, oh, he's hanging out with the big boys now. So if you have value, the big boys are going to want to hang out with you. They want to talk business with you because you have value. But if you're confident enough, you're going to be able to approach the big boys and ask questions. They're like, hey guys, what are you doing? This is what I'm trying to accomplish. How do I get there? How did you get here? That's all based on confidence, right? Then you start building your network from there. But also that's being proactive, going out there and trying to meet people and proactively trying to meet people. So another thing that I want to talk about here is about true and real value. So when I talk about being valuable, how can you be of service to others? How can you help others? And and those people that you're going to help, you're going to become valuable to them, and you're going to be somebody that they're going to be that they're going to value. That's going to be part of your network, and those are the people that are going to be part of your journey to being able to obtain your social capital whenever you come up with that idea to build your business, or that can help you build that business, right? But for them to be your friend or for you to be of value to them, you need to understand what true value is. Not somebody who has $1 million, if you tell them, hey man, I have a deal for you right now for you to make an extra $5,000. $5,000 means nothing to them because they have millions and millions of dollars. So they're not interested in your deal. That's not of value to them, right? I'll give you an example. I have a friend of mine here, very successful, made millions and millions of dollars, did several deals by himself, and we've done several deals together too. But one day he called me, Ta, it's Mother's Day. I wasn't paying attention. I'm trying to get you took me to this cool restaurant. I'm trying to get a reservation there. I talked to them. They said they don't have a reservation. Are you able to fit me in? Say less. Talk to the guys at the restaurant. Listen, I have my guy here. I know you guys said you fully booked. Can you make it happen? Sure, Ta, we'll make it happen for you. You know why they made way for me more than this guy? Because I added value to the guys at the restaurant. At that restaurant that I frequent that place a lot. So I'm a very valuable client to them. But also too, I'm a very generous person. I'm a person of value. I build networks, I build connections with everybody that is there, no matter their position. I build connections with them. So now I'm able to call and get something that this guy I can call this guy and say, like, hey man, I have a $5 million deal here that I'm trying to do. He's gonna tell me, man, I'm not interested in that. I'll talk to you later, Ta. But what is of value to him right now? It's his wife. So as I was explaining, what's of true value to this guy? Now, his wife, that's something of value. Family, that's what he values. So I'm able to be valuable to him in that he couldn't get a reservation last minute to make his wife happy for Mother's Day, of which I was able to provide that value for him. Guess what I become to him? I'm a person of value. So you have to understand what's valuable to somebody at that time and moment for you to become a person of value to them. So the other thing when you're building, I'm looking at my notes here so that I make sure that I don't forget anything. So the other thing when you're building a business with no capital, you need to be a serial networker. You need to network. You need to network. You need to go out there, meet people. Just try to meet people, anyone that's positive, anyone that's adding to your journey, no matter what position that they occupy. Meet them, network with them, be friends with them. Network as much as you can in the beginning. And then once you network, you're going to meet great people. Those great people are going to lead you towards the right direction. Serial networking is it's not the only way, but for you to be successful in having social capital on your side when you're building a business, being a serial networker is going to be one of the things that you're going to need in your bag. But above all, as I said, confidence is one of the things that you're definitely going to need when building with social capital. This was the Taa Tomondo podcast. BOSSMAN International is out.